Okay, so if you're a fan of reality competition shows like Survivor and Big Brother, chances are you're accustomed to winner deep dives, videos where step by step the winner of a given season is analyzed based on their strategic moves or sometimes lack thereof. But I have never seen a video like this based on one of my favorite shows of all time, Total Drama. Now you may be saying, oh, well that's because any strategic moves made in Total Drama are determined by the writers since it's, a cartoon. And then I say, shut up. Now, if I were to choose one winner across the Total Drama franchise to make this kind of video on, there was only ever one option. Heather from Total Drama World Tour. So in Total Drama, the most strategic players are typically the season's main antagonists. As to be strategic, you can't go around this game being everyone's friend. Sometimes you gotta backstab and betray people in order to make the most optimal move. But since Total Drama is again a cartoon, they would prefer for the villain not to win a season and usually get them eliminated around the last few episodes. Only season where this pattern broke kinda was in World Tour. So to briefly recap Heather's previous seasons, in Total Drama Island, she was of course the main antagonist, and therefore the most strategic player of the cast. Which isn't actually saying a lot. There were many moves she did that made zero sense for her game, and at many points she was on the verge of getting eliminated before getting saved by some of that sweet armor. The most infamous example, of course, was when she broke out Gwen and Trent, and was 100% getting eliminated that episode if she didn't just so happen to find immunity during her treasure chest. And spoiler alert, this will happen again this season, but compared to everyone else in that season, she was by far and away the most active in the game. Everyone else was just here to party and fart, which is why I would never make one of these on Owen. She was the only one in her cast to actually make a solid alliance that helped her make it to the end game, and nearly win the game if it wasn't for Lindsay's dare during the Truth or Dare challenge to shave off her hair. And even though she did get her hair shaved off on accident, it didn't count, and
system takes control of...
Again, for normal reality TV, making alliances is just basic strategy, but in Total Drama, this is chess master ultimate puppeteer type behavior. Then in action, well, for Heather at least, nothing she did that season had any consequence in her run on World Tour, but even though everyone that cast at that point hated her, she was still able to make 9th place, cut right before merge, which in itself is impressive. And mind you, this was her crazy bald era, where she was arguably more of a menace than an island. And so we reach World Tour. Well, before we discuss World Tour, I should probably mention the Celebrity Manhunt Total Drama Action Reunion special, which was a special aired in between the end of Action and the first episode of World Tour, that explained what our campers have been up to, and to introduce new characters for the season, notably Alejandro, Sierra, and Blanley. But for Heather, all it really told us was that A, she grew her hair back, and B, she makes troll videos about her past contestants. So basically, at this point in the story, Heather is at rock bottom. She lost a chance at $1 million twice. She was expelled for her mean girl behavior on national TV. She didn't have any friends or fame after the show, which is in contrast to many of the other campers we saw in the special. And she was baldy crazy for an entire season.
I got some! Courtney's hair. Soon it will be mine. All mine. But I'm not crazy. I'm just bald.
All that's to say, coming to World Tour, Heather needed a win, and she was going to do so by any means necessary, even if that meant being a nice person. Oh my god. Alright, before we begin, I'm going to quickly explain how this video will be formatted. I'm going to recap each episode of World Tour in the perspective of Heather's path to the million. So I'll be mainly focusing on her, but of course there's other stuff happening around her that affects her game, so I will mention those, though not as much as anything that happens directly to Heather. If you've never seen Total Drama before, this is a very weird video to be introduced to it, but I'll give you all the context necessary when applicable. Alright, we good? No?
Too damn bad!
Alright, before you ask out the freaking O on my chest, I'm trying to duplicate Heather's fit, but I don't have that outfit in any means, so this is the best we're going to work with, and chances are you're going to see this O completely looking consistent throughout the entire video, and you're just going to have to be okay with that, okay? Okay, so Heather entered Total Drama World Tour with mostly familiar faces, but a couple new ones too. And like I said, they all hated her. Well, that's not totally fair. I would say each had a different level of hatred for her. For example, Heather didn't do that much to slight Noah when compared to Gwen, where she literally kissed Trent in front of her, even though Gwen quickly got over him in action, but whatever. And we see Heather and Gwen immediately break out into an argument. Hopefully Heather doesn't get put on a team with her. The old cast emerges from the bus, as well as our new faces. Alejandro, who we immediately see charm Bridget, Izzy, Ezekiel, and, oh shoot, his name's at the tip of my tongue. Tyson, I think? and Sierra, who is an obsessive superfan who will be harassing Cody all summer. And you would think, oh, she has a big crush on him. No, you'll see Sierra do things that in any time period would have had you locked up in prison without parole. So as I mentioned many times before, this season is a world tour. So we're going to see our contestants face off in many challenges around the world, while partaking in many 2010s era cultural stereotypes. We also get introduced to another theme this season, music. That's right, at some point in a given episode, Chris will signal the contestants to break out into song. If they don't sing, they're allegedly instantly eliminated from the show. But as you'll see, this rule is basically only followed once, and even that I guess is missed later. The loser teams this season will be in economy, while the winning team will be in first class. And for the first time in Total Drama, there will be 3 teams instead of 2. This will basically not matter, as you'll find out shortly. We then see Alejandro flirt with Lindsay, and we immediately see Heather clock him, because we all know evil knows evil. And flirting, I wouldn't really say was Heather's strategy in Island. She occasionally used it, especially with Duncan, and I guess Trent, because low-key, he did stay for that kiss a little too long. But as we'll see, Heather becomes one of 3 people in this entire cast to figure out Alejandro, because most of this cast are not the brightest, and or their characters completely regressed. And we get another Heather confessional. This show is not subtle with their winter edits. Like Survivor, Heather again reiterates that Alejandro is a threat, and tries to win over Sierra as an ally because, like I said, everyone hates her. Oh, we also find out that eliminated contestants are forced to get ejected out of the plane whilst moving. This elimination always freaked me out as a kid, and definitely showed that this series was getting more cartoonish in later seasons. In the past few seasons, eliminated contestants would just ride a boat or a limo. So for anyone to just be cool, this escalation is crazy. My ass would have gotten off like Ezekiel here. And unfortunately, we have a lot more Ezekiel to come. We get our first song jingle, and you know what? Screw it. Let me rate the songs as they come. Come Fly With Us, a perfect Broadway ensemble number to give everyone a chance to sing. And oh, we see Ezekiel in the cargo hold. Anyways, I really like this number. It's fun, jazzy, iconic, 9 out of 10. Ooh, so strong for a first one. So the contestant's first stop is Egypt. And oh, look, Chris is dressed up as an Egyptian pharaoh. And that's our perfect introduction for the negative cultural depiction jingle.
Oh, that's not.
In the sense...
You'll hear that a lot. The first challenge is a race either over or under a pyramid. Everyone except Alejandro, Lindsay, Bridget, Duncan, Courtney, Gwen, and I want to say Tristan is going under the pyramid. Though Chris clearly meant through the pyramid, Heather is keeping close to Sierra because again, everyone else hates her. And she's actually taking the effort to be nice. Remember, this is the new Heather. Even though you'll see in the season, new Heather means something completely different, DJ breaks a mummified dog and not only unleashes scarabs, but will also get a season-long curse where every animal they encounter will try to kill him. So Lashana, Harold, DJ, Lindsay, and Bridget being the first to arrive are on Team 1. Unfortunately for Alejandro, he gets Owen, Noah, Ryder for Team 2, and even though he's got that bisexual menace, this is still network TV in 2010s, so he won't be able to use his charms on his own team, unfortunately. He also gets Sierra, but he's like the exact opposite of her type, so it won't matter. Duncan, Gwen, and Courtney are the last to arrive, and Chris asks for a song reprise, and Duncan is over it. Adding to that, hearing Gwen and Courtney bicker all throughout the challenge, and we get our first contestant to quit this season. Strangely, this won't be our last. So Courtney and Gwen join Team 3 with Izzy, Heather, and Cody. You may already see what the problem is here, but before that, let's analyze this team for Heather in its current state. Overall, it's not terrible. Yes, Gwen is a locked-in vote for Heather if their team ever is up for elimination, and Cody would probably align with Gwen since he still has a crush on her since season 1. Even though they were in 2 seasons together, Courtney and Heather actually didn't spend that much time playing the game with each other, due to Courtney getting eliminated in season 1 pretty quickly, and then Heather in season 2, and Izzy is crazy, allegedly. So there's definitely some wiggle room here for Heather to work with them. So we have Team Victory, Team Amazon, and Team Chris is really hot. Wow, thanks Sierra, and I have to say the full fucking thing every time I have to mention your team. Which, spoiler alert, you don't even stay on. Each team gets their own mode of transport. Amazon gets a camel, Chris is really hot, gets a goat, and Victory gets a stick.
I got a rock.
So since this is the end of part 1, I'm going to quickly recap what Heather did this episode game-wise, and for the first episode, it's a pretty strong start. First, for now, she's the only character who sees Alejandro as a threat, and understands what his manipulation tactics are.
New guy is so transparent, so fake, so
deliciously seductive.
That is exactly the opposite of what I was trying to say.
Pretty good looking guy to boot. I'm just saying.
Ugh, forget this.
This means out of any other contestant, Alejandro will have the hardest time getting his way with Heather, which basically puts her ahead of almost everyone besides him if it wasn't for the fact that everyone hates her. But instead of taking that lying down, Heather recognized that there's one other person who she may be able to be allied with, and that's Sierra.
With Beth gone, Lindsay and Ale whatever looking like a real threat, my only strategic option is to make friends with the new girl. But pretending to like that is gonna be hard. I do not hurt the new girl.
And then no one else in this cast except for Alejandro thinks of the game like this, showing that already Heather is playing as active as she did in Season 1, with the bonus that she can't tank her game by doing her classic mean girl moves, as that will lose her the very little social capital that she has left. Even though it pains her, Heather is trying to tone down her overall Heatherness. And you gotta give her credit for that. Okay, on to part 2. Each team brings their award across the Nile River. Okay, so we can already see Heather and Courtney butting heads, which honestly I should have expected. They're both some of the only people who got that competitive dog in them.
Huh? Yeah, I'm available.
Hear that? It's the sound of girls all over the world, running and rushing, just desperate to lock their doors.
And Heather just antagonized Cody. Great, now I look like a freaking idiot last session. Although everyone did laugh with her, so hey, team camaraderie. Or should I say team camaraderie? Okay, we see that Sierra also doesn't get the Alejandro hype, again the complete opposite of her type, and something she shares with Heather. Now, if only she was on her team. Chris also dumps a bunch of scarabs out, and they did eat an intern alive. But there's no time to think about that, because it's song time. Loving time, a nice slow love song. Strange, but I'm kind of feeling it, and smart of the contestants to actually use this song to help them in the challenge. You'll see them do this a lot. Another thing I love in these song segments is that it allows them to get creative with the visuals, for better and for worse. But it's definitely for the better here. I will only say a few contestants actually have the voice for a song like this. 7 out of 10, it was kind of ended abruptly by Ezekiel. Alejandro is now trying to start something with Courtney after Duncan got disqualified, and again, Heather clocks him.
Oh, he's good. Too good. Seriously, what is his deal? He is just so perfect. Ugh.
Team Chris is really hot. Mix it to the Nile first. They must weave a basket that will carry them in a reward across the Nile. Sierra is able to whip something up, being a 4th generation basket weaver. Meanwhile, Team Victory is still stranded with their stick, which turns out to be a divining rod so they can lead them to the Nile. Meanwhile, Team Amazon continues to bicker. It seems like Courtney, Heather, and Gwen are a horrible combo. When Amazon makes it to the Nile, Heather accepts Sierra's offer to swap teams with Izzy so she can be with Cody, and using her basket weaving skills, is able to help Team Amazon. Heather correctly asserts a smart strategic play here, but Gwen and Courtney still laugh her off as they do not trust her yet. Team Victory finally makes it while Amazon struggles to get their camel on their boat. Strangely, Alejandro allows Izzy to speak camel, she can do it by the way, to help Team Amazon. Perhaps he may have caused some feelings for someone on the team. I wonder who it could be. And we get another song. Apparently, according to Chris, they have to do a reprise so they don't finish the first song. This rule is never followed again. Anyways, Rowing Time is just a faster, shorter, and slightly worse version of Loving Time, 4 out of 10. And Team Amazon wins the challenge. Ezekiel lost Team Victory 6, so no surprise who goes here, but this will not be the last time we see Ezekiel. Also, one thing I appreciate this season is that they usually show you, or at least imply, who everyone voted for, which means it will be a lot harder for Heather to survive off of iffy voting results like Justin's elimination in Season 1. Duncan also gets out here, but spoilers, we'll see him again. And we see Alejandro's confessional saying that
Losing Sierra to Heather? Nah, tragic. But I still have the upper hand. The president of Cody's fan club doesn't know a thing about me. No one does. And I intend to keep it that way. Because compared to me, Heather's a saint.
things are about to get so heated with this rivalry. No, not like that. Well, actually, so Heather's game in part 2 was kind of a downgrade from part 1. It seems like she's only willing to be nice with Sierra currently, which, hey, good thing she swapped teams. When it comes to Courtney and Gwen, it seems to be a hate triangle, but if Heather can worsen Courtney and Gwen's relationship, she can find a way to survive an elimination. But for now, she needs to prioritize her team not losing, because she is at major risk of going home as that happens. This O is cutting off my circulation, but we'll move. Alejandro saves Lashana from falling out of the plane and begins flirting with her too, which if you aren't keeping track, so far he's flirted with Lashana, Lindsay, Bridget, Izzy, Courtney, Heather, and T-Bone. Oh, and Owen's able to clog that hole. We cut back to Team Amazon bickering about who should be leader, and Heather asks him to consult her friend, Sierra, who is currently huffing Cody's shoe. You haven't seen nothing yet. Anyways, because Harold complained about Chef's outfit being Chinese and not Japanese, they decided to just throw everyone out of the plane to our parachutes, and it's song time. Before We Die is alright, but for an ensemble song is kind of lackluster compared to Come Fly With Us, 5 out of 10. They fall into a big bowl of rice.
Oh, that's not
this jingle will be playing a lot this episode. So the challenge is playing in a Japanese game show, where one person from each team goes inside a giant pinball machine. DJ for Victory, where we once again see DJ's Animal Curse. Alejandro for Chris is really hot. And Cody for Amazon. And instead of a panda, Chris gives him Sierra. Anyways, Alejandro wins for his team, while Cody and DJ get traumatized. So apparently Total Drama is huge in Japan, so the challenge is to make a Japanese commercial for Chef Hatchett's Total Drama Yum Yum Happy Go Time Candy Fishtails.
Oh, that's not.
Team Chris is really hot, gets to choose their props first. then Victory, and then Amazon. Alejandro starts to get into Harold's head about how he should solely direct the commercial. So Alejandro's whole gimmick this season is to sabotage the other teams, which you may say that's a very basic strategy, and it is for these kind of shows in real life, but for Total Drama, it was unheard of. Heather and Island only really sabotaged people she personally didn't like, which included people on her team. And then in Action had both Justin and Courtney as villains, where their manipulation tactics were somehow even more bare bones than Heather. So what Alejandro is currently doing here is like the most big brain moves we've ever seen, and frankly we will ever see. Oh, and Team Amazon sees Ezekiel in the cargo hold and bicker about what to do, which causes Gwen, Courtney, and Heather to basically just quit the challenge. Harold starts getting an ego about his commercial, which means if their team loses, he's definitely out of there. So Team Chris is really hot, do a Godzilla parody for the commercial, Team Victory do Harold's weird, sad samurai commercial, and Team Amazon, or well, Cody and Sierra, have another bizarre commercial, and win because it's the closest thing to what 2010's writers think are authentic Japanese commercials. Team Victory loses once again, and Alejandro talks to Harold about honor, which leads him to quit the game honorably by performing seppuku with a lightsaber. Yeah, we can finish this episode now. Okay, to be fair to Heather, she got quite possibly the worst team combination of Courtney and Gwen, but that's really no excuse to just give up the challenge. Now, would have Heather gone home here? I don't know. Cody probably would have voted for Sierra, and maybe Sierra wouldn't have voted for Heather. Then Courtney and Gwen could have just as easily voted for her than each other. At the very least, I can give Heather the small advantage of not falling for Alejandro's tricks, which as you see will be the downfall of many more characters to come. Team Amazon's enjoying their second first-class day in a row.
Sierra.
Touching Cody's feet. See, the problem is that if I'm going to analyze Heifer's game, I have to bring up the Sierra and Cody stuff because it does become relevant later. Ugh. So, as the title suggests, the next day on the world tour is the Yukon. And when I was a kid, because I was a dumb kid, I always confused this episode with the Germany and Sweden episodes because it takes place in a snowy environment. To be fair, the Germany one is only a couple episodes later. Without Coast, all the campers hug for warmth. Alejandro with his target list, and Owen with Noah. Aww. The contestants just pass the river by hopping on ice floats, and then use dog sleds, with them being the dogs of course, to race to the top of the mountain in a relay race. And that's 2 more dead interns. Also, Chris makes it clear that in this season, any challenge could be an elimination or a reward challenge. That will be very important later, so keep that in mind. So all 3 teams trying to make it across, and we see Alejandro now divert his attention to Bridget, Jeff's girlfriend and fellow co-host of the Total Drama Aftermath. But Jeff ain't here, and Jeff never had that dog in him, so by accident, Bridget kisses Alejandro and says she kinda has a boyfriend. Now, some may say this is a mischaracterization, but once Jeff became the co-host of the Aftermath of Season 2, you slowly started to see his character get more Chris-like tendencies, and it will only get worse this season. And also, look at Alejandro, and then look at Jeff. And it's okay, he totally gets redeemed in the redonkulous race in a win I thought was bullshit. But this isn't about this season, this is about World Tour. Bridget almost clocks Alejandro by saying if he's here to make an alliance, and he denies it and says it's much bigger than the game, which is only partly true. See, this video is of course about Heather, but let's talk about Heather, I need to give Alejandro basically as much screen time as her. And one thing I like about Alejandro is that he's our first villain in the series to actually be subtle in his tactics. Granted, for us is not subtle, but compared to Heather and Island or Justin Courtney in Action, he's at least making the attempt at being subtle. And it's certainly more subtle than some future Total Drama villains. And we see Lashana effortlessly get across the river after DJ, which means he'll be driving the sled for their team. Okay, I didn't mention this before, but Lashana was always my favorite character as a kid, and I never forgave the writers for giving her the most done dirty elimination in all of Total Drama history, and kicking her off way too early in Action. So I'm sure they're gonna do right by her this season. Right, guys? Right? And in Amazon, Heather and Courtney make it across at the same time, but thanks to the alphabet, Heather gets to sit in the back, cozy, while Courtney has to drive the sled. And Pablo drives the sled with Izzy in tow. And hey, we see Heather getting DJ's head by referencing his recent animal curse. Okay, strategy. Now right after that, we do see Heather whip Courtney, but hey, she's got to drive the sled, so if anything, she's helping the team. And it works because they're able to get Gwen nice and breezy. But Courtney also does swear revenge, so maybe this isn't the best move. But listen, right now, Heather's best means to stay in this game is to make sure her team does not lose a challenge. So each team has 3 members in their sled. As this Team Victory only has 4 members, they just need to get Bridget to win this challenge. And here's where Alejandro does his master plan. He takes his shirt off to wrap around Bridget, and as they part ways, he initiates a kiss. With her eyes closed, Bridget kisses the flagpole. She is stuck to a pole, and Alejandro leaves her with his team. And of course, Chris makes time for a song, and oh boy, is this one a certified banger. I do not care if you can't understand Bridget, because the emotion is there. And the best songs this season are always the ones where you get Team Amazon rocking out, and they eat up the backup here. The only problem is that it's so short. So You know what, 9 out of 10, don't at me. So Team Amazon gets second because Team Victory couldn't find Bridget for some reason. Like, I don't get why they couldn't just have him find Bridget and be like, well, we can't get her off the pole, or they attempt to do it and they take up too much time and lose. Whatever, Bridget gets eliminated because she's still tucked to the pole, and she can't tell her team that Alejandro is evil. So like last episode, Heather didn't get to do much, and yeah, whipping Courtney was bad, but she was also trying to win the challenge. Listen, all Heather needs to do are two things. A, have her team win any elimination challenge. Since they don't know which is elimination or reward challenge, that basically means have her team win every challenge. And B, make sure that Courtney and Gwen hate each other as much as they hate her. Cody's a locked-in vote for Sierra, and Heather can feasibly work with Sierra, but if Courtney and Gwen both target Heather, the ties can quickly turn against her. So Courtney is still on about Heather's whipping, and Gwen and Courtney make a pact to vote off Heather the first chance they get. Heather, it's like I say to do one thing, you do the complete opposite, bro. So Heather now has to get to work with Sierra and Cody and tries to work on their friendship. See, she can be nice, it's not to Courtney and Gwen. I mean, I guess it's an improvement from the last seasons. Alejandro gets first-class suites for all the ladies in the economy, but Heather quickly calls this BS, and Heather gets Sierra to call Alejandro the enemy. See, I knew my girl got it in her. When you find out your goat isn't washed. Alejandro believes that Heather is working at Sierra because Chris at least now likes Sierra, because she's a giant Chris fan. Now, Alejandro is starting to recognize Heather's game. So for our next challenge, the cast is in New York City, and the first challenge is a carriage race at Central Park. And before you ask what kind of carriage, it's a baby carriage. And the carriage is on the Statue of Liberty's crown that the contestants have to climb up. So we learn that Sierra actually knows that Heather is playing her because she's a super fan, no duh, and believes she's actually playing her. You know, one thing that sucks is that there's actually a lot you can do with the character who is a super fan of the show, like what they did with Priya way later. But for some reason they saw Sierra as a character and were like, yeah, let's just make her psychotic. Like, we see scenes that clearly show that Sierra is actually a competitive player, but for the most part we just get her obsessing over Cody and Chris. So we see Alejandro start to play Sierra, getting her to tank Chris's favorability with her, implying that Chris is washed up, which is true, and Cody gets stuck in the Statue of Liberty's cleavage. Never change, total drama. So currently her strategy is to make herself as valuable as possible, so she gets the carriages while Sierra bothers Chris and makes him a fool in front of everyone. So Team Amazon gets her carriage first and drops down the statue along with Team Victory. Soon after, Team Chris is really hot. All three teams makes it down, and all three teams are going through the sewers of New York City being chased by a giant alligator and make it to Central Park. Sierra reveals that Chris was in an 80s boy band and Chris is officially done with her. Heather is immediately able to see that Alejandro was behind getting Sierra to make Chris hate her.
How could this have happened? Wait a minute. That smile. Alejandro! That sneaky jerk! It's really on now. Just you wait.
Again, her having zero blind spots when it comes to him is going to help her greatly in this game. So each team must race and bob for apples in Turtle Pond, and then race to the finish line in the heart of Central Park. I've been to Central Park many times and I never heard of it. And now it's time for the song. I love What's Not to Love. It's another Broadway smash and has some stellar visuals. 8 out of 10. Alejandro attempts to flirt with Heather, but she's not having it. And she does something sneaky by trading Noah in the baby carriage with an actual baby carriage. Team Amazon wins, and Team Chris is really hot loses. But it doesn't matter because, spoiler alert, Chris hates Team Victory and decides it's a roar challenge. Heather coaches Sierra by telling her not to talk to Chris for a while. And her team even allows her to open one of their prizes, which she tosses out of the plane. Well, we don't have to worry about that until next time. So this was a pretty good episode for Heather, except at the very end, we don't need to talk about that yet. She was actually trying to be a team player and working towards getting her team to respect her. She's actively trying to strengthen her bond with Sierra, and has shown to be able to outsmart Alejandro, who is already responsible for the demise of 2 players so far. She is far and away operating at a much more sustainable level than she did in Island or Action. And that is because she learned from her mistakes in both those seasons and is actively course correcting. Now granted, it's still Heather, and evil is still in her cold dead heart, but you have to give her props when it's due. Okay, before we move on to the next episode, I do kind of quickly have to talk about the aftermaths, because if I don't, you're going to be really confused about some later events. Also, you're not going to get any new Heather content, as Heather isn't eliminated this season, so you'll never see her on the show. So instead of devoting an entire section to them, I'm just going to quickly recap the important bits before the upcoming episode, okay? Okay, so since Bridget was competing this season, Blanley, who we saw as the host of Celebrity Manhunt, Total Drama's Action Reunion Special, took over as Jeff's co-host. And Blanley is basically our lightning rod for drama during the specials, and heavily grills Jeff and Bridget about the whole Alejandro fiasco. So we learned that Duncan and Ezekiel didn't return back home. We already saw that Ezekiel is still on the plane, but Duncan is lost in the world somewhere. Where in the world is Duncan? And Chris is desperate to find him. We do get another Heather sighting where she's kicking Harold in the Kiwis. Never changed thing. Anyways, there's also songs in the aftermath, for better and mostly worse. Baby, which is the Harold love song to Lashana, so it's a 3 out of 10. And we also get Bridget's song, I'm Sorry, which is just her singing different similes for saying sorry. Is it bad if I thought she had more emotion when she was singing with her tongue stuck to a pole? 5 out of 10.
You watched the show, right? Alejandro was playing every girl out there. We all fell for it.
Some harder than others. Imagine if the tables were turned.
You probably would have kissed him too. He's that good.
See, I told you, Alejandro's sheer aura transcends the 2010s homophobia of the times. He can charm every contestant, except for Sierra, she's unfortunately bespoken for. Anyways, Bridget and Jeff quickly get over it, and if you're mad that this romance arc got resolved quickly, just wait because your wish will be granted. But be careful what you wish for.
Slap, 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 clap, 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 slap, 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 clap, 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 slap, slap, slap.
Alright, time for my least favorite episode, yay! Anyways, Cody has now built a device to alert him of Sierra's presence. It's so good to be back. And we see Heather still really trying to be chummy with Sierra. And Sierra still believes she's using Heather. And oh look, Sierra found a way past Cody's device. So their next destination is in the Alps in Germany. And we see that Alejandro's next target is Lashana. I wonder why this is my least favorite episode. They're currently in Avalanche territory, so of course Chris starts a musical challenge now. I'm Klein. It's cute that everyone has to sing quietly to avoid an avalanche. And we get some important story beats. We are reaffirmed that Gwen and Courtney are both allied to target Heather if their team's next to be eliminated, and we see Alejandro once again charm Lashana. We also see Lindsay finally remember, Isaac, and Heather catches on to Alejandro flirting with Lashana.
Alejandro flirting with Lashana? I would throw up, but he is not even worth the puke. Did you hear him back there? Even his singing is up to something. Ugh!
So for their challenge, each team must make a giant sausage and ride it down the hill. Okay, I don't want to hear it. And this is where the meat grinder Heather threw out last episode would have been helpful. We immediately see Lashana take charge of team victory, which she's actually been doing the entire season. Almost like she's a really good game competitor. Also, everyone on Heather's team hates her because of the meat grinder incident, and today's the day that ends in Y. Anyways, what the hell is that? You know when people talk about their moments in childhood that traumatized them? Owen being stuffed with sausage meat? Yeah, that's one of mine. Like, look at his limbs. They're all, like, puffed up. The TDI staff have some sick minds. And somehow this doesn't even crack the top 10 most grotesque things they ever came up with. So Team Amazon is falling behind. I wonder whose fault that is. But Heather finds a creative solution that immediately fails. For their next challenge, the contestants must compete in a traditional German dance on a Dance Revolution pad. We haven't heard that in a while. Don't worry, next episode will definitely make up for it. Also, no, Sierra's Cody song does not count as a song, so Heather laughs at Lashana's dancing and Alejandro gets in Heather's head about it. We also find that Noah catches on to this, and Alejandro lets slip of his plan. So for those keeping track, Heather and Noah are the only ones in the game that have actually caught on to Alejandro, but Heather did it first. And Heather actually tries to warn Lashana about Alejandro, and Lashana calls Heather jealous, which she may not be wrong about. So the last person standing wins the challenge for the team, and the last team who steps off their platform loses. The last ones are Heather, Lashana, Alejandro, and Sierra. So after getting slapped by Heather, Alejandro encourages Lashana to beat up Heather and smack her tooth out, causing both of them to get off their pads and automatically losing the challenge for team victory. And Alejandro seeing this lets Team Amazon win the challenge. And Heather catches onto his dive and confronts him about it. And Alejandro really tries to charm Heather, and it's getting harder for her to ignore it. Okay, so no surprise who goes out here. Oh my god, guess what? It's time for my Lashana rant. I don't care, it's my video, I can do whatever I want. So did it actually make sense for Lashana to blow the challenge for her team because Heather, well, had this coming for 3 seasons? The only contestant besides Gwen who arguably hated Heather more than season 1 was Lashana, because guess what? Lashana used to be a character who could actually sniff out bullshit and call people out when they deserved it. So even I and Lashana probably would have done this, but guess what happened in action? In action, Lashana had to go on this forgiveness arc for getting caught up on saying things about her fellow contestants, which were all true.
Oh, haven't. That's mean for the sake of being mean. Lindsay has half a brain cell, max, and it's usually going out shopping. Oh, probably with Justin's giant ego. Oh, Duncan likes to think he's a bad boy. But when Courtney was there, she basically dragged him around by his eyebrow ring. Actually wears a side ponytail. Side pony. And how darn sweet on me. But he's getting about as much credit as an old school cassette tape in a water MP3.
And the first person who defended her was Heifer, mainly because Heifer would say all of this, or even stuff worse than this, so for her it's nothing. And when Heifer got eliminated in action, her and Lashana were actually able to reconcile. Anyways, clearly all this got thrown out this season. Now Lashana is just another contestant Alejandro was able to get eliminated, even though his actual involvement in this is debatable. Season day can mean many things. It's clear whoever the writers put on Team Victory were contestants they had no real ideas for, so they became the first boost. And listen, I get Ezekiel,
Harold,
even Bridget, but Lashana, she made them merge both times, and just has way more character to work with than anyone else in her team. Alright, let me pitch my idea. You swap Lashana with either Izzy or Preston on Team Chris is really hot. Probably Daniel because Izzy was already swapped in Team Amazon, but either way, neither characters on that team had really much to do. Like their gimmick would just work as well if they were on Team Victory. Heck, with Randy, you could even write in more scenes with him and Lindsay if you want to do that. Now with Lashana and Alejandro's team, you can really build up his slow manipulation of her. And you can even keep her being Heifer's friend during the beginning of the season, but Alejandro is able to tear them apart, giving more motivation for Heifer's resentment of Alejandro and explaining why Lashana no longer likes Heifer, rather than both of them just forgetting, I guess. I'm not even saying you have to have Lashana win this season. The season she should have won was Island, but there's just so much untapped potential here. You already got your miles out of every other contestant on Team Victory, and like half of Team Chris is really hot. Don't touch Team Amazon though, that was one of the most perfect combinations of characters, even if I don't care for Sierra's charges. But in this season as it is, this is also the last season Lashana competes in, by the way, because I somehow thought Sam was more deserving an all-star title than her. Don't even get me started. Her greatest impact was knocking out Heifer's tooth. Oh right, this video is about Heifer. Actually, besides getting beat up, she didn't do that bad this episode. Yes, tossing the meat grinder was potentially a game-losing mistake, but with quick thinking, she was able to help her team win the challenge and once again evade elimination. But she's also still in a spot where if Team Amazon loses a challenge, she's the first out. So I guess not much has changed this last episode, but as long as she keeps her head in the game and manages Alejandro's advances, she should be just fine. Foreshadowing is a narrative technique,
The green anaconda lives in the Amazon and the Orinoco rainforest in South America.
So we start with Owen, who's on Team Amazon now, I guess, punching Alejandro in the face during one of his nightmares. I think I forgot to mention it, but Owen actually has a fear of flying that was established in Total Drama Island, and now Alejandro has an eye patch, which certainly doesn't help mask his true self. Team Amazon are still enjoying their winning streak, and Heifer is still roughed up after Lashana's smackdown. After hearing that their next destination is the Amazon in Peru, Gwen comments on how this must be a lucky sign for Team Amazon, and Sierra claims that whenever a team predicts good luck, they always lose. I do not have the energy to find out if that's true. The teams must hike through the Amazon to Machu Picchu and find a treasure. The last team that arrives must eliminate someone, which Chris clearly says.
Last team to arrive at Machu Picchu will have to send someone out the elimination door.
Also, an EpiPen is given to Gwen because of Cody's bug allergies, and Chris warns her to Zing Zings, a native tribe that he says is dangerous. Victory and Chris is really hot, take the path on the left, while Heifer tells them to go with Gwen's choice of right, and a not so subtle scheme to pin her for elimination if their team loses. Cody gets taken by a giant mosquito, which famously live in the Amazon, and they encounter the Zing Zings, who immediately take them hostage. Meanwhile, Team Victory and Chris is really hot, zipline down the path.
Casanova kissing mints, hair gel, saw body spray, x-ray glasses. What color are Cody's undies?
Who wears undies in the Amazon?
Could I borrow those glasses?
You know what, maybe Cody and Sierra do deserve each other, and Gwen gets stabbed by Cody's EpiPen. Gwen calls Chris for help, and she's currently up on adrenaline, and of course, Chris starts the song, which for some reason requires a solo at the end from Heifer. So, ooh.
In the sense.
But besides the title of this song, it weirdly eats. I don't know why, when characters rap this season, mainly Harold, it doesn't work, but for some reason, Gwen has some sick bars on her. As I said before, Team Amazon carries these songs, but it's still 6 out of 10 because I gotta take points off for that title. Anyways, the Zing Zing speaking gibberish, and thinks Heifer looks like their god. Meanwhile, Team Victory and Chris is really hot, gets attacked by tiny monkeys and giant caterpillars respectively, which famously live in the Amazon. The Zing Zings set Heifer on a throne and give her a gold tooth to fill in her tooth gap. She's unwilling to speak to the Zing Zings to get them to untie her team, though in her defense she doesn't speak their gibberish, so she may accidentally get them to sacrifice her team instead. Also, Alejandro lets the caterpillars take Owen, and since Owen's pure of heart, he believes him, and also maybe casts a crush on him. And Team Victory finally gets their victory, as soon as Lashana isn't on their team. Great, just great. Also, Owen destroys Machu Picchu by unearthing an ancient relic. Don't worry, this is probably going to be the most I'm going to use this, except once we get to the Chinese episode. That one's really bad. Chef comes to Team Amazon's rescue, but it turns out that the Zing Zings are actually local actors playing a rendition of Shakespeare in the Jungle. Okay, fine, that was actually a good joke. Doesn't excuse calling the tribe the Zing Zings. In fact, play the jingle again. That's an excuse. Chef also tells them they lost the challenge and must vote someone off.
And you lost the challenge. Y'all gotta vote someone home.
And Cody gets bit by a red ant. So this vote is obviously split between Heather for not helping her team when she was proclaimed as a god, and Gwen for the whole curse business. A lot of curses this season, huh? But Gwen and Courtney make a deal with Sierra to vote off Heather by promising that Gwen will let Sierra have Cody all for herself. Alejandro stops by Heather's send-off, and she lets him know that she got him all figured out. But it's no use. But then Chris does something interesting and shows who everyone voted for. Gwen voted for Heather, Courtney voted for Heather, Heather voted for Gwen, Sierra voted for Heather, and Cody voted for Sierra, which of course sends Sierra into a mania. And Chris says this.
Guess this would be a good time to watch Heather fall out of the plane, you know? If this had actually been an elimination round, last team to arrive at Machu Picchu will have to send someone out the elimination door.
And you lost the challenge. Y'all gotta vote someone home.
But it's not. Surprise!
Now they fear me, and so they should. I will make them all pay for what they tried to do to me, and then I'll crush Alejandro for dessert.
That's right, Heather got saved through bullshit plot armor again, and she vows revenge on all of them. Okay, so obviously this was Heather's worst performance, though let me at least try to defend it. When compared to the last time plot armor saved her, she at least recognized the danger she was in and tried to save herself. On Island, after she kissed Trent, she just kinda assumed everyone would blame Trent for it, and they vote him off instead. And while they did blame Trent, they also recognized that Heather was mainly behind it. She was for sure going home that episode if she didn't just so happen to win immunity. At least in this episode, she made sure to point out Gwen's mistakes that cost him the challenge. Now, her best case scenario would have been getting to Sierra before Courtney and Gwen and convincing her to vote off Gwen, and in that case it would have ended in a tiebreaker challenge, or Chris would have just deducted both of them. Spoiler, he does both this season, but in any case, she was trying to actively keep herself in the game. But also, she would have gone home here if Kristen decided it was an elimination challenge. That also doesn't make sense, because it's not like Team Victory got any special reward for winning the challenge, so it wasn't a reward challenge. It's clear Chris just decided to make it a non-elimination so he could stir up some drama in Team Amazon. That's why he showed who everyone voted for as well. So yes, this episode definitely showed the holes in her game, but as you can see, her game has improved. If this was Island Heather, she would have had the Zing Zings torture Team Amazon for fun. At least this time she tried to show some restraint. That's what I really find special about Heather this season. It's not like she underwent this major personality change. Instead, the personality change had everything to do with helping her stay in the game. At least now she has a real example of the danger she's in. So by the next time Team Amazon has to eliminate someone, she needs to already have set up the moves to shift the target off of her. So let's see what happens.
Bonjour, mademoiselle. Je proclame notre soleil. Je veux m'en venger. Merci beaucoup. Je hurle. Oui, oui, baguette. Bisous.
When I'm, away from Izzy for too long, I get really...
Happy? Because your girlfriend is a complete and total nut job? And I'm not talking tiny peanuts. That girl is a Brazil nut-sized nut job.
You know Noah's always talking smack about Izzy to Owen, like we all don't know what you are, boy. Also, Izzy's currently in the cockpit. That's not great. Heather antagonizes Alejandro, saying his team's a mess, and he correctly points out the mess currently happening in the corner. The contestants make it to Paris, specifically the Louvre. Also, don't come for me about pronouncing the Louvre wrong. I'm not French. Oh, cram it. And they must find a sculpture that is hidden in pieces inside the museum. Also, animals are chasing after them because of course they are. Meanwhile, in Team Victory, DJ finds an Egyptian exhibit and looks for a way to break his animal curse. Sierra is becoming a liability for Team Amazon. Well, more of a liability than she already was. Cody tries to apologize to Sierra, but it's not working. And Chris triggers a music scene, and Sierra sings Paris in the Springtime about how Cody broke her heart. And even though Sierra's love for Cody is insane, this is actually a really fun song with a lot of good visuals referencing art because they're in the Louvre. It's a 7 out of 10 for me. DJ finds the same mummy that he destroyed in Egypt and thinks if he returns it to the same pyramid, he'll be able to reverse his curse. Cody has a fake date with Sierra and Owen eats a painting. Suffice to say, not a lot is happening Heather-wise this episode. DJ crashes into Team Victory's statue, meaning they instantly lose a challenge. After Izzy saves and then destroys his mummy, DJ gives up and offers to vote for himself, but Chris makes him do a fashion show tiebreaker. Lindsay and DJ choose Lincoln and Gwen. Cody clears up the situation by saying he prefers Sierra crazy, then crazy and sad, and Sierra admits she made it all up. Yay! I love how far these two make it this season. DJ is trying to purposely lose a challenge, but he's against Lindsay, who's Lindsay, and has Ron walking out like this, while Gwen is just wearing DJ's outfit. Everyone hates Lindsay's outfit, and so DJ says another day. You know, if you just voted for yourself during Lashana's elimination, you wouldn't be in this situation. Anyways, see you, Lindsay. I hope you remember your boyfriend's name before this video's over. Heather didn't really do anything this episode. I mean, I guess she forced Cody to make up with Sierra. That's strategic. I mean, it's certainly a better performance than last episode. I know that's for true.
Edgar.
Fish love?
So Heather vented. and Gwen and Courtney clock that it probably has to do with Alejandro. And Heather recognizes now that DJ is all by himself, Alejandro's probably looking to make an alliance with him and his team.
5 of us on my team, 5 of them on his team. And then there's DJ, his own team. Make an alliance, and you kinda add him to yours.
Hey, DJ! Hey! You wanna go for hot dogs with my buddy Noah? He said your legs are nice.
Owen tries to set Noah up with DJ. He's such a good friend, but despite Heather and Alejandro's best efforts, DJ is determined to lose the next challenge, but also gotta stop her from crying. The next stop is Newfoundland, and Heather tosses DJ a couch cushion turned life preserver, and once again offers that alliance, though Alejandro suggested it would have been better to offer the alliance before the life preserver.
Actually, I'd have asked him before delivering the cushion, but you do what's right for you.
Oh, he is good. I want the tape. Give me the tape! How do you open this thing?
Sierra reveals that Chris is from Newfoundland, and Chris, the kind soul he is, gives DJ an advantage during the bloating challenge for being a one-man team. Heather, uncharacteristically, is willing to go with Courtney's plan.
You know, Heather really shouldn't let her obvious crush on Alejandro get in the way of the game. Having a relationship with Duncan really screwed things up for me last season. Trent. Just a slip of the tongue. I want that tape back. Give me the tape. How do you open this thing?
Meanwhile, DJ refuses to start his boat, so Heather goes after him and places Courtney in charge. She starts his boat and is going to force him to stay in the game. Chris starts a musical challenge and DJ refuses to sing so he can get automatically eliminated. Sea Shanty Mix is a good ensemble song, but that's about it. 6 out of 10. Heather gets DJ to the location first. Meanwhile, Amazon is in last because Courtney and Gwen think they see Duncan on top of a rock, so they lose, and as punishment, they have to shock Chris's plans. That sounds more gross than it actually is. The last challenge is a real life challenge, in which DJ immediately quits, so Heather has to get creative. The first part is drink apple cider vinegar that Heather disguises as an herbal drink for his cough. Then they must interpret something Chris's Newfoundland cousin said that DJ accidentally gets right. He then must kiss a cod. Heather points out that the fish has an Egyptian symbol and implies that it could break his curse, and Alejandro backs her up. It's a tie, and finally Team Amazon arrives and Gwen owns up for getting them lost, saving Courtney from Heather's ire.
Okay, fine. So I did let a guy get in the way of how I played the game. I really can't stop thinking about how Duncan could just abandon me like this, and I messed up. Did I just say that on air? I want that tape back! Give me the tape! Oh! How do you open this thing?
Luckily for them, Chris has once again decided it was a reward challenge because he only has it out for Team Victory. Unfortunately for Heather, since it's a tie, both Team Victory and Team Chris is really hot, win the reward and both get to stay in first class, making it harder for her to strategically woo DJ. Also, DJ keeps a cod he kissed, and it's revealed that Alejandro was responsible for the cod's Egyptian symbols. So I think this was a good episode for Heather. I guess you can argue she should have stayed with her team to prevent them from coming in last, since they didn't know it was a reward challenge, but also how was she supposed to know that there would just so happen to be a Duncan-shaped rock nearby? I'm not going to hold it against her too much because, as you see in this episode, she is so active in the game that the only competitor thinking like her is Alejandro, and she was able to surmise that he was strategically wooing DJ just like her. Honestly, if I were them, I would just cut their losses with DJ, but I guess I could see the advantages of working with him. Since he's alone in Team Victory, it's easier to just have him join your team for challenges, and if you both win, then you can instantly eliminate the other team, because once DJ is out, it'll just be Team Amazon versus Team Chris is really hot. And before merge, Heather needs to prioritize picking off the members of that other team, as many of them will be allied with Alejandro. I just love how she thinks at the same level as Alejandro. Unfortunately for her, Alejandro's the greatest threat this show has ever seen. Except for, I guess, Mal. Oh god, I hate All-Stars.
Oh. What are you... Oh, Marley.
DJ named his new pet cod Irene, and he now believes this is good luck charm, and Izzy kicks Owen in the Kiwis. So Owen has finally decided to talk to Izzy about breaking up. Good luck with that, big O. Alejandro is already scheming a way to add DJ to his team, and Chris is having none of it because, again, he hates Team Victory. And unfortunately for Heather, it seems like DJ has been fully won over by Alejandro. The plane's going down, and Izzy once again gets a Kiwi shot on Owen, and the plane falls on them. So they're both taken to the infirmary while the rest of the contestants do their challenge to Jamaica. Also, the plane goes down for the count, and they don't have any money. And Izzy's got a new alter ego again. And if you haven't seen action, that reference won't make any sense, so welcome Brainzilla. Easy, but she's smart, allegedly. Oh, hi Chris. So for the challenge, the contestants must dive off the falls filled with electric eels and sharks to find Chef's gold chains.
You have beautiful form.
What?
Oh snap. Heather, I gotta take points off for that. Oh my god, girl. Okay, so Gwen finds the chains, but she gets shot by eels, and Alejandro saves her, but sneakily takes the chains for himself, and Heather immediately snatches them back. Consider those points reclaimed, girl. Oh, and Gwen got shocked enough to end up in the infirmary with Owen and Izzy. And the army takes Izzy away, I guess. And I guess she also breaks up with Owen. Oh, so I guess Izzy is just eliminated now. Well, so the next challenge is a bobsled race, but with longboards instead. Owen laments Izzy's departure, and Chris somehow realizes what was happening and issued a song. Oh My Izzy is so cute, and the visuals are just fantastic. Even though Owen's voice actor clearly is not experienced with singing, he somehow manages to make it work. And Gwen's backup vocals, that's a 9 out of 10 smash. I don't give a damn. So the longboard race is in 3 rounds, and the team with the slowest time is up for elimination. DJ aces rounds 1 and 2, which leads Alejandro to admitting that he painted a symbol on DJ's fish. And now DJ realizes that he's still cursed. And I don't know, Alejandro, I know your team was last, but were you really in any danger of getting eliminated? I guess Izzy just quit, or was forcibly taken by the military, so you would have the numbers disadvantage compared to Team Amazon. Okay, fine, you win this round. So DJ's out, and the plane's still out of commission. They need money badly. Even though Teledrama is allegedly the most popular reality TV show in the world, they are in a constant state of debt. Heather did fine this episode. I guess Alejandro getting DJ didn't end up mattering, and her team came in second, so I guess it's fine. But now that Team Victory is done, though, if Team Amazon ever loses a challenge that Team Chris is really hot, then they're automatically on the chopping block, if it's not a reward challenge. And then Heather is likely also Denzel. Oh, there's an aftermath show after this episode, and it's a telethon to raise money for the Total Drama plan to get more fuel. Oh, we already got a song. Save the Show is kind of forgettable except for this one line.
They can't even your party. It's so unfair.
And honestly, that one line is saving it with a 4 out of 10. So they did raise $500,000, and oh, Blandley's back. By the way, can I just say I hate spelling her name on the script? Like, who spells her name like this? 2 E's? They're back to showing the whereabouts of Ezekiel and Duncan. Does Duncan not have a home? Why is he acting like a cryptid? Oh, Heather sighting. Oh, there she goes. And they just bombarded DJ and the entire studio with all the animals he heard throughout the season. And because of that, they now have to raise $1 million. So they have to bring out the big guns. It's time for Lashana, baby.
Listen, taking Heather out was fun, don't get me wrong. But she's still in the game and I'm here. I wish I'd smacked Alejandro.
She actually respects that Heather stayed in the game so far. So it's time for Lashana's solo song. And listen, will I give the song extra points because it's, yes, 8 out of 10. I don't want to hear it. Lashana actually does have some decent vocals, so I don't know why she was eliminated so early, especially compared to characters who either just sing in the background or who don't sing, period. Anyway, Sisters, an Alejandro disc, and it seems Lashana is the only one who's actually gotten over Alejandro. Yikes, Bridget. And Billy and Lee is taking the opportunity to monetize off of this. Anyways, this rap brings Zilla onto a big wheel like that one episode of iCarly where Spencer got tied up into a big spinning wheel. See, if you watch all my videos, you would have gotten the reference, or if you just watch iCarly. And Izzy's back again. Oh, and the peanut gallery is tied up and slowly lowered to a shark tank, and Izzy must have used a bomb to save them, and the studio blew up. But they got $1 million and 1 cent out of it, so the show can now return.
Steady. You can do this. All you gotta do is remember the song you learned in bomb school. Green is good, and green is good, and red is good, and yellow is good, and clip whatever you want.
Now who can tell me what he did wrong?
He made up a song about cutting wires?
He made up a song about cutting wires. Don't do that, guys.
Alright, so we're now about halfway into the season, so it's the perfect time for an intermission. This intermission is just going to be an overall recap of Heather's moves so far this season and any hot takes I have. So whether or not you like Heather, you cannot deny that she's playing the game harder than anyone in her cast besides Alejandro. And even though Alejandro has occasionally outwitted her, it's with less frequency and severity when compared to people on her own damn team. Speaking of her team, they have shown that they are ready and able to vote her off if the chance arises, and if Chris wasn't feeling nice during the Amazon challenge, then she would have certainly taken the plunge there. While she's putting in the work of Sierra, unfortunately Sierra's also crazy and doesn't trust Heather, and aligned with Courtney and Gwen to vote her off after the Amazon challenge as to minimize Gwen's interactions with Cody. Thankfully, Cody will now be a locked-in vote for Sierra, so that's one less vote she has to deal with. At the very least, she has caught wind of Alejandro's schemes, so she probably won't fall victim to him, unlike almost the entirety of Team Victory. Nevertheless, this season, we have seen Heather playing the most actively strategic game she has by far. She is constantly thinking about her future positioning by trying to align with Sierra and DJ, but if she's gonna win this game, she needs to spread division in her team so she's safe from the chopping block. And most importantly, she needs to take down Alejandro by any means necessary. Anyway, some hot takes. Team Victory as a concept was stupid. Or rather, having 3 teams just for it to end up as 2 teams was stupid. I kinda hate how wishy-washy Chris is with the rules this season. I guess you can argue this is true to life of a lot of reality TV shows, but not the ones that Total Drama is parodying. Survivor can occasionally have bullshit happen, or, well, let's face it, Survivor can have a lot of bullshit happening, but it's never gonna be as blatant as an elimination being cancelled because I don't want anyone from this team going home yet. And listen, all just about keeping Team Amazon unsafe, but did we really need everyone on Team Chris is really hot here? I love me some Izzy, but she just doesn't really have much to do this season. And don't even get me started on Riley. Name one notable thing he's done. I'll wait. And yes, I know he kind of becomes relevant later, but you could have done that with anyone. It didn't feel shoehorned into the scene itself. If there were only 2 teams, we could have seen Alejandro orchestrate the elimination of people on his own team. And yes, I know we'll see some of that soon, but honestly less than you think. It just sucks because by the time of Bridges' elimination, you just knew if your favorites on Team Victory, they were doomed. Imagine if on Tojo Island, the Killer Bash just kept their losing streak until everyone on their team was eliminated. That would suck, right? And can't we just have the reward challenges announced ahead of time instead? It was really only one time so far where it was crucial for that information to be hidden from the audience. But when that information is hidden from us, it doesn't give us the more peaceful and chill episodes that we got in action to see some more reward challenges were introduced, which really helped the pacing and allowed for more deep and intricate character moments. That would have been so welcomed here because now our award episode feels the same as an elimination episode except for the final few scenes. I know I ragged on Heather for this, but honestly in this game, how is anyone supposed to play strategically if they don't even know who's at risk of going home in a given episode? Okay, I think that's enough intermission, so let's get back into it. So we find that Gwen mysteriously got a sunburn on one hand, and it's revealed that while they were in Jamaica, Cody with the help of Sven took a photo of Gwen in her bikini. You know what, Sierra and Cody really do deserve each other. Anyways, Courtney gives Gwen a homemade ointment made out of green tea and guano. Uh-oh. You see, Heather, those two are really bonding, and you're really boned if your team loses. If only someone could show up that would throw a wrench into everything, that would really benefit you.
My little buddy Noah is like the funniest guy I know, so making him laugh is awesome. It's like getting an A+ in hilarity. I want to top his honor roll. Did that sound creepy?
Oh no, Win, you're so special to me. Can you believe that NoCo is more popular? Like there's zero sauce there. What was the point of this video again? Alright, Heather. Alejandro storms after seeing Owen's nose stuff. Anyways, Chris brought Jack the Ripper back from the dead, and he's taken Alejandro. Our next stop is Jolly Good London. So the challenge is to track down Jack the Ripper by finding a series of clues in the Tower of London. And Heather is the first to point out Alejandro's disappearance and worry about his safety. Oh, she's so whipped. Gwen and Courtney start bonding again about their respective school projects about London. They're such good friends now, guys, and nothing will ever change that. So for the challenge, the contestants must strip down a London guard. Chris is making teenage contestants strip down old men. I repeat, Chris is making teenage contestants strip down old men. Besides that very weird implication, the song Changing Guard mix is unfortunately very funny and has some of the best vocal performances of the season. Lives were changed with Courtney's last note. 8 out of 10. Team Am AH Zon receives the first clue and goes to Anne Boleyn's torture chamber. London history's messed up, kids. Anyways, Heather gets stretched in a torture rack, and Sierra and Cody get taken by the Ripper. Thank God. Meanwhile, Gwen and Courtney are really bonding over torturing Heather. See, Heather is helping with team bonding. Honestly, Heather's willingness to take part in challenges is a huge improvement in her game, considering how she went out on Island. While Noah and Owen torture Derek, Noah is letting Owen know of his mistrust of Alejandro, and they also forget William in the torture chamber after getting their clues, and the Ripper took them. Heather also gets taken while Gwen and Courtney search for their clues in the banquet hall. So what remains of the teams are Gwen and Courtney and Noah and Owen, and they both interpret the last clue differently. Gwen and Courtney head to a punk club in Whitechapel, while Noah and Owen go to a double-decker bus that took them to the challenge. Both teams capture someone, and the contestants who were taken by the Ripper were watching the challenge play out on the monitors on the plane, so Alejandro heard everything Noah had to say about him. Noah and Owen actually captured the person playing Jack the Ripper. It's Old Man Jenkins. See, I always knew it's Ezekiel. Oh wow, you're green. And Gwen and Courtney captured Duncan, and because of this, Team Am AH Zon wins the challenge because Chris loves him some Duncan. So now Duncan has rejoined the game on Team Chris is really hot. But now the team must vote someone off. Courtney worries Duncan about leaving, while Duncan implies he's actually missed Gwen rather than Courtney. So we see Noah go out, and we see Gwen in the confessional with a fuzzy feeling. Duncan enters and oh, hi, Nathaniel. I'm great. Now I have to talk about the context for this. Okay, so very quickly on Island, Courtney and Duncan were in a meet-cute relationship. It was very sweet and wholesome, and we all rooted for them. Then in action, we saw Courtney return very late in the game and start to fully whip Duncan with relationship contracts. And even though it was very toxic, we were also kind of rooting for them because it was very funny. Now back to Island, Gwen also got into a meet-cute relationship with Trent, which was boring, because Trent is boring. And of course, you see that relationship fall apart after Heather kissed Trent, where he then got bullshit immunity and sent Trent home. Gwen and Trent had rekindled the relationship in time for action, but Trent got paranoid and weird all of a sudden and Gwen broke it off. And then the show tried to gaslight her by saying Trent did all those things for a good and sentimental reason, Gwen you monster, and Gwen and Duncan had very brief interactions in action because Gwen went home pretty early, and those interactions were, I guess, a touch flirty. Now on World Tour, Duncan has decided to fully quit his relationship with Courtney and be with Gwen. But importantly, Courtney doesn't know this. And no, till Drama All-Stars, they were not broken up until after Gwen kissed him. So that's the major drama this season, and we'll have to do with Heather later. Speaking of Heather, she was a great team player this episode, and if she's smart, when she finds out about this Courtney, Duncan, Gwen stuff, she could use it as a way to target Gwen and Courtney against each other and save her butt come next elimination.
Time to pay back that favor.
I like girls.
Then why are you blushing?
Courtney and Gwen start fawning over Duncan, and Courtney has a list about 47 things she would like to change about Duncan. Oh, Courtney, those lists will be the death of you, and I mean that literally. Gwen is conflicted about her kiss with Duncan, and Courtney knows about Gwen's crush on him, and really hammers home that Duncan is her boyfriend.
After 3 seasons of kindness, I'm reduced to evil kisser status? For the last time, Duncan and Courtney were over before he and I started. You can't steal a boyfriend if the boy is free.
Imagine if you, me, and Duncan end up in the final 3.
That'd be crazy.
Just you, me, and my boyfriend.
You can't steal a boyfriend if the boy is free.
My boyfriend?
Owen starts missing his homeboy. Oh, Alejandro, you'll pay for this. Alejandro pieces together some tension between Duncan and Carl. So contestants head to Rome to recreate the first Olympics, and the contestants tell Chris they actually happened in Greece. Boy, I hope someone got fired for whoa. Okay, so the contestants head to Greece to recreate the first Olympics. Courtney catches Gwen and Duncan making eyes at each other. You better watch out, Gwen. Courtney can get cray-cray. Since Team Am AH Zon, yo, Sierra, where's your ponytail? Anyway, since Team Am AH Zon is an all-girl team, Chris decided to make the matches one-on-one for fairness. So the first event is a scavenger hunt. That is not an Olympic sport, but whatever. So it's Gwen versus Duncan. Sierra implies that Gwen had a crush on Duncan since season 1. I don't know what fan sites are looking at Sierra, but there was as much implication that those two are a thing than Alejandro and Tyler being a thing. Oh my god, I just remembered Tyler's name. And it's definitely not because this episode is where he has the largest narrative purpose. Anyways, Chris forbids Duncan from speaking and will get toweled by Chef if he does. The next challenge is a pancreation. Courtney and Sierra versus Owen and Tyler. Alejandro lets Tyler compete instead of him in exchange for a favor that he will ask of Tyler down the road. Did anyone hear that? Anyways, Duncan is getting mauled by a boar. Anyways, Sierra and Courtney knock each other out, and Team Chris is really hot, wins 2 gold medals. We cut back to Duncan and Gwen for the episode song. Greek Mix is fine. It's about the relationship drama, and frankly, in comparison to the other song about this relationship drama, it doesn't hold a candle to it, so 6 out of 10. Anyways, Gwen scores their medal for their team, and Alejandro listens to the song in the background and figured everything out. Last challenge is hurdles, and is against Heather and Alejandro. If Heather loses, then Team Am AH Zon will lose, and she'll definitely be out if it's an elimination challenge. So her performance here is crucial. Alejandro starts leading, but gets distracted and loses. So for the tiebreaker, one member from each team must wear a pair of wings and fly to a gold medal. Cody and Tyler are competing, and seeing the opportunity for distraction to help their team, Alejandro pays back that favor by telling Tyler to tell Courtney and Duncan about the... What the fuck is playing behind me right now? So Courtney is now totally against Gwen, and Cody punches Duncan square in his rectangular face. Courtney and Sierra tell Cody not to compete because if they lose, Gwen is going home. It only took 14 episodes, but finally, Heather's not at the bottom of her team. But unfortunately, Gwen's got Cody whipped and wins it for his team. After the challenge, we see Heather console Courtney. She's playing this perfectly. Gwen stays behind to see Team Chris's really hot elimination ceremony, and we see that one intern get eliminated because Duncan was going to get eliminated, and Chris needs to see this drama play out. Okay, so in this episode, Heather did just generally have that clutch win during the hurdles race. That's already enough, but we also see as soon as Gwen and Courtney have that falling out, her comforting Courtney. This is a great opportunity to build something with Courtney or Gwen. Already she's safe for 1 elimination, which that's probably enough to last till merge, but just in case, it's never a bad idea to use a falling out between team members to help improve your own social capital.
Hey guys, well guess what? There's aliens outside coming.
Courtney is still fuming about Gwen and Duncan, and also Sierra because she thinks boyfriend stealing is a cardinal sin. Also, apparently that intern we saw get thrown out of the plane is back, so I guess eliminations don't mean anything in the show anymore. Well, that's just swell. And Heather is finally feeling safe thanks to the downfall of Gwen.
What is that delicious smell? Oh, I know.
It's tension! And it has nothing to do with me. I have never felt so safe. Thanks, Gwen.
We flash back to Courtney's breakup with Duncan, which was definitely a very mature and mutual parting of ways. Due to all this, Alejandro now seizes the opportunity to start flirting with Courtney, throwing both Team Amazon and Duncan off their games. Anyways, aliens are real and start attacking the plane. Alejandro gives Courtney the idea to start flirting with someone else to start messing with Duncan, and she sets her eyes on... Oh my god. It was like Taylor or something? And also, I guess Alejandro hypnotized Owen at some point. So they land at Area 52, and for the challenge, they have to break into Area 51 and retrieve a functioning alien artifact and bring it back to Chris. So Team Amazon finds himself in the middle of a minefield, and Sierra calls Gwen the new Heather. I see that as a positive, old Heather. Anyways, it's time for the best song in the whole series. Don't at me in the comments, you can't argue with me on this. Boyfriend Kisser is so goated. First of all, it's a Courtney solo song who has the best vocals out of the entire cast. And Heather backing vocals, the second best vocals, it's a whole punk rock song. That's the perfect tone when describing the relationship between the three characters. And it even has great visuals, with blueprints showing all the ways Courtney would take out the boyfriend kisser. Also, I see you have her talking about a boyfriend kisser. That's a little hypocritical, but I'll let it slide, because it's a 10 out of 10 song. And unfortunately, no song will top this one. That's not to say we're not going to get some great songs after this one though, don't you worry. Oh, also during this song, Cody throws out some candy to activate the landmines, and unless there's some like really heavy candy, that's not how landmines work. So Team Amazon and Team Chris is really hot, making it inside of Area 51. Oh, and Owen gets stuck into it too, I forgot to mention that. Okay, even though the alien stuff here is what I would consider a show jumping the shark, that will lead to the more wacky and cartoony stuff in later seasons compared to season 1 and season 2's more realistic approach. It's pretty funny here. And we see Courtney saving Heather from getting snatched by aliens. Now, it is because she needs her vote to eliminate Gwen, but hey, a win's a win. And Courtney is intentionally breaking any alien artifacts they have so that her team can lose and they can eliminate Gwen. So Duncan and Gwen kiss, and Duncan kicks up his leg like a girl. Duncan saves Sasha and Alejandro from aliens, in exchange for Alejandro's vote if their team's up for elimination. And oh, it's a Joker, baby. What's even happening anymore? So Gwen finds the artifact Team Chris is really hot found, while Jaden gets exploded by a landmine, and he destroys the alien they found. We then see Courtney trip Gwen, but luckily for Team Amazon, it falls right into Chris's hand. Heather tells Courtney to focus off of targeting Gwen so they can target the other team. That's what we call strategy, mama. Gwen and Courtney are at the elimination ceremony where Hayden gets thrown out because of the promise Alejandro made to Duncan, I guess. And Courtney swears revenge on Gwen and Duncan. So if you bought Heather stocks before the season, they're currently going up. As now, Heather is officially no longer the first one out of her team thanks to Gwen, and considering Courtney keeps sabotaging her team, she may not even be the second one out. So she's all but confirmed to last until merge. Remember, Heather was drawing for dead if her team ever lost a challenge. And mind you, she still sees a strategy on winning so the other team starts losing members. Even though everyone on her team still doesn't like her, she can see the greater competitive threats like Alejandro and Duncan are on the other team. It would be really easy for her to just let Courtney lose for their team, but instead she's prioritizing her long-term success. Mind you, a majority of this cast doesn't even think about their game like one challenge ahead. So everyone except for Cody and Heather has it out for Gwen, and Courtney is determined to lose the challenge for her team so they can vote off Gwen. She needs 3 votes. Sierra and her are locked in for Gwen, which means she needs to convince Heather for her vote. They make a deal in the dark. So Heather agrees to vote off Gwen, but her fingers are crossed. Gwen also sees that Heather is a swing vote, but Cody's still focused on voting off Sierra. His plan is to keep his team winning until Duncan gets booted, and then hopefully Courtney will chill out and they can vote off Sierra. See, that's why I like this season. The amount of complex voting strategy just wasn't a thing in seasons before or after this one. Alejandro sees that the only way to dismantle Team Amazon is to take out either Heather or Courtney. Owen suggests he plays a flirting manipulation card that sent Bridget and Lashana home with Heather, but Duncan gives the better idea for Alejandro to seduce Courtney, which will mess with Heather because we all know she has a thing for him. See, that's no good, Heather. I thought you were better than this. Granted, Heather immediately clocks what Alejandro is doing with Courtney. We're in Australia. The contestants must ride emus through the Blue Mountains to hang and rock, and Heather, the true gamer she is, starts flirting with Duncan to counter Alejandro's strategy. Courtney asks Heather if she's into Alejandro, and she denies it.
Next time the Amazons lose, Courtney is gone. And not for making goo-goo eyes at Alejandro, as if I care about that. You saw the way she was riding her emu. She is purposely trying to lose. Again!
Yeah, I'm sure. So it takes 2 days for the contestants to actually make it to Hanging Rock. Heather really tries to flirt with Duncan, but Gwen is still around, so it's difficult. Team Amazon makes it there first as Owen, well, you know. So for the next part of the challenge, the teams must bungee jump and grab sheep. 6 sheep have one of the 2 teams' logos on it. They must shear the sheep, and the first to get a sheep with their logo wins the challenge. Heather accepts Gwen and Cody's proposal to vote off Courtney next. It's song time. Talk about back-to-back bangers. Shear the Sheep is the perfect rock album for the Australian outback, but even though he's performing at Team Amazon, Cody's ass ain't singing, so I know he hasn't been eliminated yet. Anyways, the visuals and vocals are great. 8 out of 10. Alejandro and Duncan pretend to fight about Courtney, and Owen finally makes it, and now they can start the challenge. Sierra falls with the clip without a bungee. Thankfully, the medics are there. Tell the sheep. So Duncan pretends to cry about Courtney and Alejandro's flirtation, but Gwen doesn't know this, and Cody seizes this opportunity and agrees to vote off Courtney, says Sierra. Anyways, Team Chris is really hot, finds a sheep with their logo, and wins the challenge, which means for the first time all season, Team Amazon is up for an elimination, and Heather is guaranteed the one not going home. Better yet, as a swing vote, she can choose between Gwen and Courtney who she wants to go home. Chris tries to claim that everyone on Team Amazon has a reason to go home here, and Heather's reason is the flimsiest of all of them.
Not your most focused performance.
I have no idea what you're talking about, just saying whatever. We almost between Courtney and Gwen. Okay, I didn't mention this, but Cody did get attacked by a dingo during the challenge, and in his delirium, he votes for Sierra. Heather votes for Courtney, Gwen votes for Courtney, no surprise, but Courtney votes for Gwen, and Sierra votes for Gwen, meaning it's a tie between Courtney and Gwen. So the tiebreaker challenge is to feed a baby koala with eucalyptus without their hands, and Gwen just so happens to be allergic to eucalyptus, so she's out. So good performance from Heather. She made the right call voting for Courtney, since sabotaging her team was bad for her game, but it doesn't matter because Courtney should stop doing that now that Gwen's gone. And it was smart of her to actually try and counter Alejandro's flirtation with Courtney by voting with Duncan, which may be more effective now that Gwen's gone. Honestly, it's really good for Heather that Gwen got eliminated here. Now Cody doesn't have anyone he's aligned with on Team Amazon, so Heather can take the opportunity to make him an ally come next elimination. And thankfully, next elimination, Courtney is definitely on the chopping block. Unless some BS happens and someone new joins the cast. What are the chances that happens?
I don't even want you around me. I don't want you living in my apartment. And I will never want you around me. And I will never want you living in my...
Sierra celebrates the elimination of Gwen so she could finally have Cody all for herself. Meanwhile, Heather's getting jealous of Alejandro's flirting with Courtney. Owen says up to Duncan that Noah said that Alejandro's untrustworthy and has feelings for Heather, which I don't know when he ever said that, but whatever. Courtney feeds Alejandro a cookie, and Heather acts foolish trying to get Alejandro to look at her booty, and even Sierra calls her out. Yikes, girl. It's sweet in time. Courtney demands an apology for...
For what? For Gwen!
For who?
For Gwen! Stop breathing so loud!
Heather tries to flirt with Duncan again and really goes at it. The challenge is to craft a boat. Even though Chris doesn't tell them it's supposed to be a boat, Heather is mistrustful of Courtney's leadership since she has been sabotaging her team. Duncan tries to get into Owen's head about Alejandro. He's now our third person to figure out Alejandro while they're still competing in the game. We see Cody quickly start building something. Meanwhile, Team Chris is really hot, builds something a secret from Team Amazon. Anyways, Cody builds Gwen's face and Heather tries to kill Cody. It's song time. And Team Amazon figures out that they were supposed to build a boat. We built Gwen's face as a certified banger. And I know I already said that for another song, but I don't care. We got an ABBA parody song with the visuals and outfits to accompany it. And again, Courtney eats up the vocals, 9 out of 10. Heather and Courtney are caught swooning over Alejandro, and we see Team Amazon ride Gwen's face. Meanwhile, Owen's wet, nasty fart starts melting the ice. I don't know, she just loves this show. Heather once again accuses Courtney of sabotaging them, and Sierra is still torturing Cody, so yeah, Team Amazon morale is not doing so hot. While Team Chris is really hot, Alejandro and Duncan are fighting for Owen's loyalty. The two teams must race to capture a flag, and they can use overcooked Swedish meatballs to sink each other's ships. Alejandro turns the ship around on Owen's request to fight with Team Amazon. We see Team Chris is really hot, sink Gwen's face with Owen and wins the challenge. So once again, Team Amazon is up for elimination. Heather finally confronts Alejandro.
What is your problem?
Surely I do not have to explain it to you. We are in a competition?
Oh, sure. So picking off my teammates while you totally blank me is strategy now?
Indeed it is. When dealing with jealousy...
I am not jealous.
He claims he's actually helping her distract Courtney so Heather can blindside her, and Alejandro claims that Heather's the only one he has eyes for, but this time there might be some truth to what he's saying. Sierra tells Heather that she and Cody are voted for Courtney, but luckily for her, it was a reward challenge. So first of all, we got confirmation that Heather will survive at least one more elimination round before it emerged, so props to her on that front, but it's clear that she's starting to develop feelings for Alejandro. It hasn't affected her game yet, but if she lets it, then she'll go down the same path Bridget and Lashana went on. Granted, unlike those two, she is fully aware about Alejandro's tricks. She just can't let her obvious crush get in the way of her winning that $1 million. And to be fair to her, it seems like Alejandro is also developing feelings for her, so we'll see what happens next. And it's an Aftermath special. Okay, so for this Aftermath, Blaney has replaced Bridget as co-host again, and she sent Bridget to Siberia. I'm sure she's fine. Jeff storms off the studio and Blaney fully takes over as host and interviews the recently eliminated Noah, Gwen, and Zach. So for this Aftermath, 5 members of the Peanut Gallery will compete for a second chance at the game, or for some, a first chance that they didn't compete at the season at all. Lashana, Lindsay, Beth, Noah, and Vincent are the ones competing. So you're saying there's a chance for a Lashana sweep? Anyways, again, never song. Her real name isn't Blaney. It's funny to someone, I guess. 2 out of 10. Also, it's Mildred, by the way. But we don't dead name here. Or, well, I guess I just did. Whoops. So the 5 must compete in a board game about the final 7, or country the cast has visited, in order to win that second chance. While we see Jeff continue to embarrass Blanley by showing clips from her green room. I'm sorry, I'm not defending Blanley, but like, nothing she did is as bad as what Chris has done. But for some reason, the show is so willing to punish her and not Chris. I don't know, something about sexism in Hollywood, or wherever Hollywood is in Canada. Toronto? I'm just saying she doesn't even crack top 10 of the most evil Canadians. Chris is number 10, by the way, and Drake is number 9, and the rest are probably colonizers and politicians. Listen, I don't know Canadian history, alright? Anyways, Blanley tries to speed up the game, and it's revealed that if the game isn't finished on time, she doesn't get paid. So Jeff tries his best to derail things. You'll understand why soon, but this game really doesn't matter. So we see Byler, Noah, and Lashana get out. God damn it. So it's down to Lindsay and Beth. I know ain't no one rooting for Beth to come back, as it was such a waste to have her win an action over Duncan, depending on their country and territory. So in an effort to try to rush Beth into winning the game, Blanley answers a question for her, meaning that Blanley has won the opportunity to join the game. And by opportunity, I mean she's forced to go. So yeah, Blanley's in the game now. Yay.
I don't even want you around me. I don't want you living in my apartment. And I will never want you around me. And I will never want you living in my...
So Chris has the contestants take it to the cargo hold during their sleep, and Owen gets a premonition about Alejandro. Don't ask why he's naked. So they're all thrown out of the plane and are starting to hop the swan paddle boats that are about to fall into the Niagara Falls. Cody pleads that he will let Sierra kiss him if he lives, so yeah, that happens. The contestants are headed to the casinos. Feeder, and Chris announces who won the returnee spot from the Aftermath show. So we get the reveal of Blanley, who also meets our song quota for this episode. Blainerific. See, this is how you do a comedic song Aftermath show.
Who is that girl again? What? Who am I? Who am I? Who are you?
Exactly, Blanley. Why is Cody even still here, bro? He never sings. 6 out of 10. Also, throughout the song, it's revealed that Owen has a thing for Blanley, even though Blanley is an adult. Things are gonna get very weird this episode. And we finally have made it to merge. So for this challenge, the contestants must get into arranged marriages. See, I told you things are gonna get weird. Each contestant must get heterosexually paired up, and is chosen via a giant slot machine. Of course, Sierra wants Cody, and when she lands on Alejandro, she freaks out. So Heather takes him instead. Yeah, I see you, Heather. And now Courtney's top priority is to eliminate Heather. Blanley gets Owen, again, don't question things, and Courtney gets the bear. Oh right, I forgot about the bear. So she re-rolls and gets Duncan instead, which means Sierra gets Cody. So for their challenge, each groom must guide their blindfolded bride through an obstacle course to get their wedding dress. Heather and Alejandro make the perfect team, while Cody and Duncan hate their brides. And Owen is Owen. So Alejandro helps Courtney in Duncan's place because he actually prioritizes strategy, and Heather gets jealous. For the next part, each groom must carry their bride or Cody on a tightrope across Niagara Falls and clear Canadian customs. So Alejandro makes a deal with Duncan. Together they will vote off Owen, since Blanley mentioned earlier how popular he was with fans, which would only be a threat if there was a jury vote, which only happened in action, mainly because they were shot for ideas at the end. And in exchange, Alejandro will vote with Duncan during the next elimination, though Duncan claims he wouldn't go through with it. Meanwhile, Courtney is still dead set on voting off Heather. So Sierra's harebrained scheme this episode is to officially marry Cody because she's apparently an ordained minister. Heather tells Alejandro not to underestimate Courtney and to vote her off. Alejandro tells Heather that he's voting off Owen, and I guess Alejandro intentionally falls to lower his threat level. Again, he's doing very basic moves in normal reality competition show standards, but for total drama this is next level. Anyways, the remaining team also falls off, and Duncan and Courtney win immunity. Oh, and I guess Sierra and Cody are married now, and Alejandro gets Sierra's vote in exchange for his witness at a wedding. I don't know, when you're working with Sierra, you can't really work with logic, so Heather gets 2 votes, Sierra gets 2 votes, and Owen gets 4 votes. And of course, when he's ejected out of the plane, he farts. Oh, Owen, I'm not making a video on you. So I don't know exactly who else voted for Heather. Courtney was definitely one of them, but frankly it doesn't matter who else did because Heather stays never round. And it's definitely safe next round as long as Courtney doesn't win immunity. So this round she did fine, I guess, though she really needs to chill on her jealousy of Alejandro and Courtney. At this point, the only way Heather can beat Alejandro now is if she gains his trust and betrays him, because he has way too many allies at this point. Luckily, it seems like Duncan still has some strategic sense left in him, so if she can cut a deal with him, there may be a path forward. Courtney is now giving Duncan the silent treatment, and it's hard to get to Duncan as he's all out of allies right now. Blanley starts to bribe Chef as she's also stuffed for allies. Meanwhile, Heather tries to calm Cody down when it comes to the whole Sierra marriage scheme, while Alejandro stays Sierra's witness to win her loyalty. Now Heather wants to target Sierra so she can try to gain Cody as an ally and get rid of one of Alejandro's.
If I can get Sierra off this show, I win Cody's loyalty and leave Alejandro with only Duncan.
So she encourages Cody to definitively end things with Sierra. This is actually a great shift in targets because let's face it, Courtney is not winning this game, while Sierra is actually a huge threat. So the cast has landed in China.
Our first challenge is torn from the pages of her rich history. In 8 million BC, King Dim Sum led a battalion of donkey warriors down this very great wall.
8 million BC was the Miocene era. There were dinosaurs.
Yeah, what she said.
Oh, I haven't heard that in a while, but this is far from the last we'll hear it, trust me. Also, before you say, isn't the whole point that Chris' character is ignorant about these cultures, so all these jokes are made at his expense? Yeah, if you're thinking that, I would ask you to keep watching. So the contestants must race across the Great Wall of China. Heather gets slapped by Blanley. See, that's gonna cost you some points. So each contestant must use a different mode of transportation, and Heather gets left with which are Japanese because she got distracted by Alejandro's girl. And gets blown up. So Cody finally talks to Sierra, but it's not going through to her. Luckily for him, his donkey kicks her off the wall. Alejandro tries to help Courtney to gain her trust, and in exchange, he offers a favor. Don't you even think about it. Meanwhile, on our Sierra side quest, she meets an old lady that gives her a love potion tea. Courtney gets blown up, so Alejandro and Duncan get to the finish line. But who gets there first doesn't matter. It's a time competition. Basically, everyone but Courtney gets to compete in the next challenge, which is a food challenge, which according to Chris, features food from the most authentic Chinese restaurant. Just get the jingle on standby. We all know how this is gonna go. So to explain each dish, Chris, oh my god. Okay, a Chinese lesson is a 0 to 10. I don't have to explain it, right? Like, look what's currently on screen. Alright, so in the following rounds, Cody, Heather, and Duncan all get out. But Heather and Duncan figure out that Blanley and Alejandro have been cheating thanks to Chef and Courtney self-respectively. And oh my god, look at what they're eating.
In the sense that...
So to prevent further cheating, Heather tells Chris to switch Blanley and Sierra's bowls, and to make Courtney wear a mask. So of course, Sierra wins immunity. Which I mean, I guess it would have been advantageous for Heather no matter who won immunity, but you did say you want to target Sierra. Oh, and Sierra gets to choose someone to take the first class with her, and by someone, I mean Cody. So the vote comes down to a tie between Blanley and Courtney, and for budget purposes, Chris eliminates both of them. And you see Sierra pouring her tea on herself, which Cody's allergic to, and blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Honestly, Heather kind of confused me this episode, because apparently she voted for Blanley at the end. I mean, I guess she was mean to her, which everyone's mean to on the show. I mean, both Courtney and Blanley is leaving is good for her game, and she wasn't at any risk of getting out this round, but now things are looking tough. She needs to either get Alejandro or Sierra out. It was smart of her to see the strategic advantage of Cody as an ally, and the massive threat Sierra imposes on this game. Duncan would also not be a bad option, as he's also a game threat. Meanwhile, Cody has been dragged through this entire thing, but now it's not the time for my Cody rant. That will be later. But right now, Heather's path to the end is looking clear. There's just one thing she needs to do to improve it, and it's getting over your massive, glaring crush on Alejandro.
What kind of music do you like, Gloria?
Hippo hop. Woohoo! Yeah, baby.
Dude, those animals are so fucking funny, they make me want to merge without looking.
Final 5, and Duncan has clocked her with the tension between Heather and Alejandro. Meanwhile, Sierra is getting Cody sick with her tea from last episode. Oh, hi Chris. They're playing later to Tanzania, and since Cody is out of commission, Sierra is now playing for both of them. She is literally carrying Cody, but now's not the time for the Cody rant. So for the challenge, the contestants must grab plums while dodging soccer balls and whack the plums with cricket bats into gourds. At this point, everyone is now teasing Heather and Alejandro, including Chris, which is messing up both of their games. Everyone cracks their gourds. Oh my god, why does everything sound gross? Everyone cracks their gourds except for the Sierra and Cody duo. For the next challenge, the final 5 must hunt an animal, and by animal, I mean Ezekiel, who has turned into this. This is Ezekiel now. He has gone completely feral, and the show just kind of expects us to roll with it, so whatever. Since Heather broke her gourd first, she gets the most tranquilizer balls for the challenge. Okay, Comp Beast. Duncan offered to team up with Alejandro and Heather, but she refused, and Alejandro just stole her tranquilizer balls. Every damn time. Meanwhile, in the Sierra side quest, you know what? I actually don't want to cover this. Heather finds out what Alejandro did, while Duncan and Alejandro sink into quicksand, and Sierra gets Cody stuck to a tree. I know a lot's happening, this episode's pacing is crazy. Ezekiel pulls Alejandro and Duncan out of the quicksand, while Heather and Sierra try to help Cody. Heather gets Cody to point in Ezekiel's direction, with all 4 running towards Ezekiel. They manage to all tranquilize each other. And it's song time. So the contestants must sing through this. Wake Up is a fun safari song, but now that Courtney's gone, Heather really carries the songs for the rest of the cast. 6 out of 10. Duncan struggles to make an alliance with Sierra, but Heather and Alejandro agree to one. Yeah, I'm sure that will last. I really can't deal with all the Sierra subplots, man. Why are these two still here? Anyway, Sierra's fighting monkeys, I don't know. Oh, finally, we're back on Heather. She and Alejandro try to trip up Duncan, literally. They trick Duncan as being bait for Ezekiel. Alejandro manages to tranquilize him, and he hugs Heather in celebration. You can either get the boy or the million, you can't have both. Also, Ezekiel manages to sneak back on. During the elimination ceremony, we have 1 vote for Heather, 1 vote for Alejandro, 1 for Duncan, and 1 for Sierra. With 1 vote left, it's Duncan who leaves the game, and Alejandro brings Cody to first class so he can start courting his allyship. Since Alejandro was immune, it it was a correct move for Heather to target Duncan here, because if she wasn't one of over Alejandro, that would be really dumb. You could argue it would be smarter to target Sierra here so she can start persuading Cody to her side sooner, but honestly, both her and Duncan are big threats, so Heather was fine here. And agreeing to Alejandro's alliance to save herself here paid off. I think she did a good job this episode, but once again, the question on Alejandro is going to be a huge problem. Her main goal right now is to target Alejandro. That's priority number one. But if he wants immunity, then target Sierra. It shouldn't be that hard to convince Sierra to vote off Alejandro. I mean, unless he does something really underhanded. But what are the chances of that happening? Foreshadowing is a narrative technique. Oh, god damn it.
Oh no, now I gotta take care of the babies.
Finally, Cody has peace from Sierra thanks to Alejandro. Now see, I don't get no co, but Cody, computer. Alejandro is trying to bribe Cody for an alliance. Meanwhile, Heather is stuck with Crazy. Realizing that Alejandro is working on Cody, Heather must make do with Sierra. So she tells Sierra to not trust Alejandro, but Sierra laughs it off because of Heather's huge, massive crush on him.
Between me and Cody Wody and the Heather Alejandro love fest, this plane is starting to feel like one huge double date in a can. Well, except for Chris and Chef. Chef isn't really Chris's type.
Now, Sierra, you of all people should know that's not true.
So, were you doing anything after work? We could always rent a... Or not. I was busy anyway. Very busy. I was just throwing it out.
The next stop is Easter Island. Sierra has officially decided to not make an alliance with anyone except Cody, who she will continue to carry in this game. Now it's not time for the rant yet. Oh, hi, Chris. So the challenge is an Easter egg hunt. Yeah, that counts. As is made, the contestants wear traditional feathered headdresses, so the contestants must find 3 eggs of their hairdress color. The Easter Island statues are made in image of everyone who has been voted off so far. Sierra finds Alejandro's egg and drops it. At least she isn't totally targeting Heather. So Cody has finally figured out that letting Sierra be associated with him will allow him to cruise by to the finale. If this video was focusing on him instead of Heather, my only advice would be to not vote for Sierra after every single episode. She may kill you and wear your skin, but also it's $1 million. Sierra offers to make a basket for Heather, which means I guess the girl talk worked. Again, you can't predict Sierra.
Sierra, trying desperately and transparently to work me? Awesome! I am so gonna make it to the final 3, and Alejandro is gone.
While Cody lets Alejandro put his eggs in his reward basket, Sierra sees this and freaks out, but Cody goes to Alejandro. So now we see a split based on gender. Heather and Sierra on one side, and Alejandro and Cody on the other. For the next murder challenge, the contestants must go through a cave that Chris and Chef are rolling boulders through. It turns out Sierra has officially turned out Alejandro for home wrecking, and has agreed to vote for him with Heather. See, we're making moves, people. Sierra's egg hatches into a baby condor that of course looks like Cody, and the bird attaches to Heather. Oh, this is gonna be so bad for her. The male condor returns for her eggs, and that's the next part of the challenge. The contestants have to return their eggs to the condor's nest with the condor leering. And it's song time. Condor is a nice Latin jazz piece, and oh look, Cody finally sings a damn song. And his vocals are amazing. Cody and Heather's parts are definitely the best, but overall it's a great song. 7 out of 10. And Heather wins the challenge, and now she's in the final 3. During the voting ceremony, Alejandro gets 1 vote, and Sierra gets 3 votes. Whoa, wait a minute.
Sure, Sierra and I are both girls, but all we have in common is that we both wear bras and mascara. Some of us better than others. Ultimately, Cody's a much better ally. Reason number 1, he's sane.
And okay, I can defend this move, but not without reasoning. But it doesn't matter because this was a reward challenge. Heather lets Cody and Sierra stay in economy to please Sierra, which means Heather's with Alejandro in first class. Alright, let me try to make sense of this vote. I did say Sierra was also a major threat, but here's a key difference between her and Alejandro. If Heather was in the final 3 with Sierra and Cody, it would likely be she's playing the final 2 because Sierra would just carry Cody to the end. When it's a competition threat, Sierra is just as dangerous, if not more dangerous than Alejandro. What Heather hasn't fully realized yet is that she can use Alejandro's crush on her against him like he does with her. She can't do that with Sierra though. If Alejandro left here, then she would have no ammo against Sierra. Also, if she did vote for Alejandro, it would have just ended in a tiebreaker, and if Alejandro won, then he would have been completely against her. It was smart of Heather to give up the opportunity of talking to Cody in first class to appease Sierra after she voted for her, and it also helped to make Alejandro think that she's his ally, because unlike Sierra, he won't necessarily prioritize Cody, especially with that aforementioned crush. In any case, Sierra's gotta go right now. I can't take any more of this, please.
I can't stop drinking oil. I can't stop drinking oil. I just can't stop. I can't stop drinking crude oil. You know, the black stuff that comes in barrels? I can't stop drinking it. I just can't. It's tantalizing. It's addicting. It is a delicacy.
In a devious plot, Alejandro breaks into Chris's room, and using the monitors, he's able to Photoshop a picture of Heather sleeping with Cody. Heather reaffirms that inviting Alejandro was purely for strategic purposes. I'm sure. Sierra's not mad about Cody voting for her. Basically, there's nothing he can do now to get her to dislike him, and honestly, Sierra teases a special surprise for him. Alejandro shows Sierra the photo, and now she's after Heather, though he convinces her to wait for her revenge. Drumheller, Alberta is our penultimate stop, and is known for its large collection of dinosaur fossils. For her challenge, the final four must create a full-scale dinosaur fossil using bones found in the site. While Alejandro attempts to reel in Sierra, Heather works on Cody's vote for Alejandro, which I don't know why he didn't just vote for him last time. Well, actually, I think we all know why. Heather tries to get to the bottom of Sierra's problem with her, which of course doesn't go over well. So Alejandro recreates an actual dinosaur, Heather attempts glazing Chris to win, Cody uses fossilized shit, and Sierra makes a full-blown art piece where she reveals it's Cody's birthday, something even he forgot. The judges are the contestants themselves, where they have to answer with an electric chair lie detector. Both Heather and Alejandro try to give Cody the win, but they, along with Cody, find Sierra's piece so moving that she scores the win and gets to kill Heather device. So now the contestants must find a buried barrel of oil. Heather teases Alejandro as he's the only one who didn't win something to help in the challenge, and in a rare break of character, he actually snaps at her. Ooh, can Heather actually manipulate the manipulator? I guess we'll have to see. Cody tries to figure out what's wrong with Sierra, and now the Stockholm Syndrome has finally manifested in him, and now he cares about Sierra's crazy ass. Cody's able to figure out the photo is fake because Sierra would have never left Cody alone, and now they're both after Alejandro. Also, Chris is launching rocks at the contestants, and now Heather is stuck in a hole. Sierra won immunity after finding a barrel of oil first, so now Heather has to vote off Alejandro. Oh, it's song time. This is how we will end it is so good, because it's a rock opera climactic peak of Alejandro and Heather's dynamic this season. Alejandro gleefully states that he puppeteered multiple eliminations. He left Bridget stuck to a pole, robbed Lashana of her fabulous soul, and even made Courtney lose control. And now he'll leave Heather wedged up in a hole. Now Heather needs to manipulate the master manipulator into helping her. It's so clear that these two make the season. It's a parallel to Gwen and Heather on Island, but with the roles reversed, because she's the only one who can outsmart Alejandro. She's been made her protagonist, which is crazy. Heather as a protagonist? Anyways, this song is an easy 9 out of 10. So Heather won the day. Alejandro helps her out in exchange for Heather's promise not to vote for him. Both implied this was all strategy, yeah, I'm sure. Sierra talks to Heather. Now that Sierra and Cody are both voting for Alejandro, Heather can finally take him out. Alejandro actually kept his word and voted for Cody. Sierra and Cody voted for Alejandro, and Heather, oh, hold on, looks like Sierra wants to do a birthday surprise for Cody. So she brings out a cake with firecrackers, and Sierra, there's an oil spill. So Sierra is eliminated for blowing up the plane, which means that the final 3 are now Heather, Alejandro, and Cody. Yay! Heather attempts to dispose of the votes, but Alejandro follows her and learns that Heather voted for him. Okay, so this was a strong showing for Heather. She just underestimated how crazy Sierra was. Now things are looking kinda rough. Let's be so honest. Now that Sierra's gone, there's no way Cody's advancing to the final 2, as it's likely to be determined by a challenge. He won like 1 challenge with Sierra's help, so it's looking like Heather must face off against Alejandro, which will be rough. But hey, she's beat him once before, so who's to say she can't do it again? So let's finally see the finale of Total Drama World Tour, and goddammit, there's never aftermath. So it's revealed that the finale will be taking place in Hawaii, and Blanley is currently in a full-body cast after landing in China. So mostly everyone is rooting for Cody because he's the only finalist who isn't evil, and literally no one is rooting for Heather. Who you're gonna root for is a fine recap song, but this is barely a song. It has like one quick Hawaiian luau part, and then it devolves into nonsense. 3 out of 10. So they recap each of the finalists' game. And basically Cody ain't got no ground to stand on. Alejandro had a masterful mental strategic game, but I would argue that Heather had the greatest overall strategic game. But I'll take that argument until after the finale.
Heather this season? She's managed to outwit and outlast albino alligators, baby birds, and all the haters on her team. And that's a lot of hate.
Nothing seems to stop her.
Smack
From
him.
losing a tooth, once again, Lashana, nice work, yeah, to getting bird slapped by an angry condor.
If Cody's the unknown quantity and Alejandro is Captain Comeback, that makes Heather an unstoppable force.
But even Bridget and Jeff agree that Heather's greatest weakness is her crush on Alejandro. The peanut gallery has a chance to compete for a prize that will help their preferred finalist, and Bridget once again proves her humility by being the only one who feels bad for Blanley. And like, yeah, she kidnapped Bridget, but next season Chris will literally be responsible for horrifically mutating one of his contestants. So let's lay it off her, guys. Courtney is playing for Alejandro, Harold is playing for Cody, and Blanley is playing for Heather, but Owen will help her out in fear of Heather's possible retaliation. Basically, the challenge is a surfing race, and the contestants must place a lei on their finalist's spirit animal. It's song time, and I'm winning this is once again another song that's entirely carried by Courtney. 5 out of 10. Anyways, Courtney wins the challenge for Alejandro, and he wins a wheelbarrow. Cody gets a baby stroller, and Heather gets nothing. I'm sure this entire thing will have major consequence for the upcoming challenge, and will end up being a complete waste of time. So, the final three must find their way to Hawaii without a plane to help them. And also Sierra is now wheelchair bound, thanks to the help of Heather?
Now that Sierra's out of the game, it would be nice to earn points with Cody. But really, I have to help. I've been where she is. Crazy or not, no girl should ever have to be bald on national TV. Huh?
Chris and Chef are taking a helicopter to Hawaii, and for their next challenge, the final three must use a GPS to go to Tijuana to catch a boat to the island. Last to arrive is out of the game. Now that Chris hates Sierra for exploding his plane, Sierra's obsession with Chris is officially over. Alejandro reveals to Heather that he knows she voted for him, so any alliance between them is over. We see Alejandro hitching a ride on a truck filled with seasoned animals. Heather takes a train, and Cody and Sierra take a makeshift hot air balloon, and he now calls her his best friend. Aww, I hope these two get a restraining order. Alejandro gets dumped into the same train Heather's taking, which just so happens to be going to Mexico. Cody and Sierra almost collide into Chris's helicopter, and there's a dangerous storm coming. Alejandro finds Ezekiel, and he launches him towards Heather, and they find themselves on top of the train cabins. It's a fierce one-on-one. With hail pouring, all three finalists are in severe danger. So of course it's time for a song. I'm Gonna Make It is such a great penultimate song, and of course is focused on Heather and Alejandro because Cody is an afterthought at this point. Also, Heather and Alejandro tango duet, cinema. 8 out of 10. Heather's still riding the train, but being chased by Ezekiel, and Alejandro is now riding on a fleet of horses. Cody and Sierra get stuck on an electrical pole. Cody laments about his chances of winning, but thankfully the local firework vendor is a Cody fan. Sierra helps encourage Cody. You know what? Even though Cody is against two of the strongest competitors this game has ever seen, maybe he really does have a chance. Heather is also forced to ride the horses, while Cody and Sierra launch to Tijuana. All three somehow manage to make it and sail to Hawaii. Heather secures her spot making it to Hawaii first, but Alejandro and Cody manage to both land at the same time, meaning they have to face off in a tiebreaker for the second spot in the final two. So of course Heather won the challenge and secured her spot in the final two. That's about as good as it gets. If Heather had any say in the matter, she should want Cody to battle it out with her. I mean, I guess there's a possibility it could come down to a jury vote. In that case, Heather would have a better chance against Alejandro. So it all comes down to this. Who will win Total Drama World Tour? Heather, Alejandro, or Cody? And pretend like you don't already know the answer. So, Alejandro and Cody must face off to compete in the final two, and Chris implies that the peanut gallery will play a major role in determining who wins the season. So reasonably, Heather and everyone else assumes that this means it will come down to a jury vote. There's no way Heather would beat Cody, but with Alejandro she at least has a chance. So she'll try her best to have Cody lose this matchup. As for her reward for making it to Hawaii first, Heather can choose a tiebreaker challenge, and by choose, I mean she must play in a Chuck E. Cheese ticket machine filled with golf balls. One gets lodged in her throat, and it says the traditional Hawaiian fire dance of death. So Cody and Alejandro battle it out, and Heather lies about Sierra being in danger, distracting Cody and letting Alejandro gain the upper hand and defeating Cody. So the final two is officially Heather versus Alejandro, but unfortunately for Heather, it doesn't come down to a vote. Instead, it's a final challenge. So Heather and Alejandro must symbolically sacrifice each other into a volcano, and they each get 2 helpers. Alejandro picks Courtney and Lindsay, and Heather gets Cody and Harold. So yep, this is the payoff to Cody's arc this season. Cody, riddle me this. Why was Cody in the final 3? Well, the answer is simple. The writers introduced 2 new characters this season, Alejandro and Sierra. So obviously they wanted to give them the adequate screen time, meaning they had to advance far in the game. Unfortunately, since Sierra spent 90% of her screen time shackled to Cody, if Sierra progressed in the game, Cody had to progress as well. As we all saw what a Cody-less Sierra looked like, it ain't pretty. The writers tried to get us to root for Cody, but they knew there was only going to be one real option for the final 2. This season was never Cody versus Alejandro or Cody versus Heather, it was Heather versus Alejandro, since practically the beginning. So then I ask, why did we need Cody to advance this far? And in asking that, I'm also blatantly saying, why did we need Sierra to advance this far? You could have done something interesting with Sierra. She's a super fan, and according to her rare confessionals that are not about Cody, she clearly has a strategic mind in this game. Maybe Sierra could have been a more interesting player if Cody was eliminated way earlier, but that's not what the writers wanted. Sierra was never supposed to be a strategic character. Her role was comedic relief, comedy that even in the 2010s didn't play well. Basically, this ties back to my Lashana rant. I think Lashana should have gone out right here, and in that case, we would have had a final 3 with each member of the 3 teams. You know, so there would actually be a narrative purpose for having 3 teams. And it would have worked so well. If at the end Alejandro betrays Lashana, it would lead her to helping Heather in the finale. And that would just be such a crazy full circle moment from her time in Island. Heather's greatest enemy becomes her greatest ally. Because really, why does Cody care about Alejandro's downfall? If anything, he should be pissed at Heather for helping Alejandro win the challenge. But at the very least, we have the greatest final 2 in total drama history. Like there was 0 competition. Mind you, last season the final 2 was Duncan and Beth. Ridiculous. So Heather and Alejandro must direct their helpers to build their volcano sacrifices, and it's time for the last song of the season. Versus has some really great visuals. Problem is Heather and especially Alejandro have some very heavy auto-tune, and there's a Herald rap, so it's not a very great finale song. If anything, the last two songs were way better on that end. It's really disappointing. 5 out of 10. So the final two now have to race to the top of the volcano, and this is where the wheelbarrow Alejandro won during the aftermath comes in. So Alejandro gets a major lead over Heather, but unfortunately the two must cross a deadly river of lava with booby traps controlled by their helpers. So any lead he had is completely gone now.
Look! There's a sale on mascara!
There's no mall!
We learn of Alejandro's deep resentment of his brother Jose, who always called him Al. I don't even think I mentioned Owen calling him Al even once. A cake just dropped on Heather, and it's practically over. There's no way she could beat him now.
I will destroy you! Come on, Heather! Are you just gonna let him win $1 million?
Hurry! There's no time to lose!
Don't give up or the bad guy wins!
You mean I'm the good guy?
Wow, Heather, the good guy? Has this entire season been a Heather redemption arc? Alejandro makes it to the top. Now it's really over. There's no reason for him to not toss the sacrifice in. He can win this right here, right now. Heather finally makes it. She admits defeat and accidentally admits her true feelings. Finally, the two share an intimate moment with each other after episodes of build-up.
Well, I suppose I might actually feel a little something.
Mi amor.
A little something called victory! So long, sucker! Yeah, boys are okay, but $1 million is way better!
And that's why Heather's the greatest to ever play. She had a choice between the boy and the money, and she chose the money, like she should. And that is where the episode ends. Heather won the cash and won the hearts of all of us. So let me quickly recap Heather's game. If there's one word to describe Heather's game this season, it's resilience. She went into this game with everyone as her enemy thanks to her dominant run in Island. She was put on a team with two people who despised her, the most insane person casted on the show, and Cody, who I don't even remember a season where the two talked to each other before this. She was in a position where if her team lost, she would be immediately tossed out of the plane. But she recognized this. She attempted to make nice with Sierra, and she helped her team go on a massive winning streak. When her team lost in the Amazon, she tried to pin the vote on Gwen, but it was unsuccessful. However, thanks to Chris's BS, she was granted another chance to improve her game, and improve she did. And when she bore witness to the Courtney, Gwen, and Duncan of it all, she quickly took charge of her new role as a swing vote. Her choice to not choose a side helped in making any future alliances, and thankfully this drama helped her make it to the merge. Once that merge, she quickly got to work with Sierra, Cody, and even Alejandro to advance all the way to the end. And Alejandro is key here. She was one of only 3 contestants on this show to actually see Alejandro's game for what it was. But most importantly, she figured it out on day 1. This not only helped her to not fall victim to his tricks like Bridget, Lashana, and Courtney, but it also helped her worm her way into his heart, something that came in clutch for the finale. For her final trick, she pretended to give up all hope, let Alejandro see her vulnerable side, and close it off with a kiss that of course ended in a kick to the kiwis that secured her the million. There's no one in total drama history that had to fight tooth and nail to win the show like she did. Everyone else used their already pre-established good social reputation to help them float by to the end. Heather didn't have that, but look where she is now, $1 million richer, and look behind me. What's happening? What the hell am I looking at? Heather lost the money because the show wanted to do a Lord of the Rings and Star Wars parody. What? She lost the money? So all that hard work was for nothing? Man, fuck this show. Finally, we're done. I can tick off this stupid goddamn O. I hope you enjoyed this video. It sure was a long one. And if you enjoyed this, then maybe you would like my other total drama video where I actually designed an entire cast for a new season. I know, crazy. But anyways, hope you enjoyed this. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing next. And, don't forget to smile.
This plane's going to Miami!